Well, hello. Thanks for coming back to check out another video. So, I am super excited today. Hopefully you are too. I assume that you are since you clicked on the video and you can see the title. But we are here today to do a ranking my blushes video. I about said Project Pan video. It is a ranking my blushes video. I am super excited. I have created a ranking my makeup playlist, which I will leave down in the description box in case you have missed anything. We have done foundations, highlighters. I actually, spoiler alert, have ranked my BH Cosmetics palettes and I've already filmed it, but that is coming later on in April, like April 4th-ish. So I think this is technically the third video where we have ranked our makeup. Now, I do not know who started this trend, but I am here for it. Again, I feel like it was much popular last year and the year before, but I never got to add my 2 cents in. So here we are. That's why I'm ranking my makeup for you now. I will also in the description box and up in the cards leave my swatch party video that I did in February of all of my powder blushes. That way you could go and like just check them out there. I am hopefully editing Haley will let you know, but hopefully I am going to include a swatch clip for you guys as we rank them out. I will do that on my arm. So yeah, we are going to go from the bottom just like we have in every other rankings video and work our way to the top. So again, like I've said before, if something that ends up being like a low end favorite, like on the bottom for me, but it's one of your absolute most favorite blushes, please keep on loving it. Because likewise, you might have something in your collection that I would consider like a holy grail, but you don't really like it. That's the beauty of makeup, that it works differently for all of us. And I really love this part where we do get to sit down and kind of like judge the makeup and say like, well, it doesn't work for me because of this, or I don't like it because of this. But you get to say, well, no, I actually like it because of this. It's just fun. I really do enjoy it. So like I said, this is only powder blushes, not cream blushes. I did that with my highlighters. I only did the powdered highlighters, so I felt like it only made sense to do it with the blushes as well. So I'm gonna get my life just a little bit more organized and we are gonna get right on into this. Okay, so like I said, we are going to start from the bottom and work our way to the top. And with every ranking video that I have done, I have lost count, which is sad. I only have like 15 powdered blushes, right? 15, yeah, 15. So with a low number, you would think, how can Haley lose count? But she does. So on the screen for you, I will put somewhere like, hey, this is the number that we're at, and this is, the blush name. So let's just kick it off. Like I said, from the bottom, it is a blush that comes from my Benefit Cheekstars palette. It is the shade Dalhis right here. I will kind of bring it in closer for you so you can see it. Like I said, you're going to see a swatch of it. So Dalhis is just more, it's not even like a brownie, pinky, peachy blush. Like I really do enjoy those. This one just on my skin tone comes across like a bronzer. Like there's no way that I can use this as a blush. It's just simply too brown for me. So that is why it is coming in at the bottom. I really do enjoy the Benefit blush formula. It's just this isn't a shade for me. And I know that's part of the risk when you buy like a palette like this, like a face palette. But yeah, I might end up moving Dalhis into my bronzer inventory. I don't know. But as we sit right here, that is why it is my least favorite blush, just because simply I don't like to use it as a blush. Okay, so the next one coming in is from ColourPop. This is part of their Sailor Moon collection. So this is the blush in the shade Cat's Eye. This is what this blush looks like. How many times have you seen Haley rock a bright pink blush? Probably like you could count it with one hand, maybe 5 or less times. It's just not a shade that I gravitate towards, and I'm a little like low-key mad at ColourPop that I feel like they do this with all of their products. When you look at the swatches online, it never looks like how it looks when you get it in person. I would have never picked this kind of blush for myself. It is just too bright and vibrant and bubblegummy pink for what I like to go for. Now it is nice, like the formula is nice. I do find that it blends out nicely, but if you just give me the option to pick whatever blush I want, which I guess I always have that option because it is like my collection, but you know what I mean? Like this is never one that I am going to like want to like focus on. So that's why this one is coming in almost dead last. Okay, so this next one surprises me because I enjoy the highlighters from this brand so much, but this is my Ofra blush in the shade Blush Rose. This is just not a good formula. I don't know, it's very dry and it's very hard to blend out. I don't enjoy the experience of it. It's just not a good product. I'm just wondering, maybe, is it like, did this one get a little too old? I don't know. It's always, like, it's never performed well while I have had it in my collection. This was gifted to me from someone else, and I really don't know how long that they had it in their collection. So if you love Ofra blushes and you're finding, like, in your experience it's different than what I'm saying, please let me know down below, because that might just be it, is that its age is so, you know, making it a little bit off. It doesn't smell funny or anything, like, it just smells like powder, you know. Anyway, the reason I did put this one in higher than the ColourPop and the Benefit blush is because this is actually a shade that I really do enjoy. It's like a mauve kind of pinky purple shade, and I really feel like these are very flattering for my skin tone, and I do get a lot of like enjoyment out of wearing them. But again, since this formula is so off and so terrible compared to other things in my collection, I just don't find myself reaching for it. Okay, so the next blush that we will talk about would actually go higher if I had picked out a better shade for myself. So this is from Nabla. This is part of their skin glazing line. This is the blush in the shade Independence. I do have to say, I'm not as big a fan as the bronzers from this collection, but the highlighters and the blushes seem to be a little bit like of a different formulation, even though they all look like this gelée kind of formula. I just feel like the blushes and the highlighters wear a little bit better, and, you know, I don't experience the same type of fading with these as I do the bronzer. The reason this is coming in so low, though, even though I really do like the formulation, is simply because the color of it is so dark. I just did a horrible job at looking at swatches online and trying to find like a color from the blush line that would work for my skin tone. So I do enjoy reaching for this, but I just have to be so careful. Like, I think that I have barely dipped my brush into this pan, and then I will put it on my cheeks, and I'm like, nope, that was still too much product. So it's just a struggle to reach for this, kind of like the Ofra blush, but I would rather reach for this one, even though I know it's going to be a little bit more difficult because of the depth of the color. I would rather reach for this one over the other ones that we have already talked about. Okay, so next up, we are going to dip back into the Benefit Cheekstars palette. So the blush that we are going to talk about now is Georgia down here. I'm going to bring this in for you. So I think a lot of reason why this one is coming in so low is because I really wanted this to be something that it's not. I have the Gold Rush blush from Benefit, and I really do enjoy that one. Now, if you look at them side by side, I'll keep this one out and we'll compare them when we get to the Gold Rush blush. But if you look at them side by side, I feel like you would think they're going to be the same blush. And I've already said before that I don't like the boxed blush packaging that Benefit tends to do. I just find it super cumbersome and annoying. So this one would work out much better because it's in a palette. It's easier to access the product. But this just isn't the Gold Rush blush. This is a lighter shade, so I feel like it fades more easily on my cheeks. I don't feel like the golden shimmeriness to it that you get with the other one is as present and impactful as it is in this one. So I think that if I didn't have the Gold Rush blush, I feel like this would rank higher on the list than where it's coming in now. But since, like I said, I want it to be something that it's not, this is the spot that I put it in. I do, however, still enjoy reaching for the Georgia blush over the other ones that I have mentioned, because I really think that my favorite kind of blush shade that I have is a peachy pink golden, or like a peachy golden type of blush. I just feel like that is super flattering. It's a shade that I wouldn't wear all year round, but I just really enjoy it. Okay, so we are going to dip into this Hourglass palette, and the packaging is super reflective. So the blush coming in at this spot is this like pinker one right here, this bright in-your-face bubblegum pink. So it is the shade called Pure Effect, I believe. Yeah, Pure Effect. This one comes in higher than our other pink blush from ColourPop that we talked about, simply because this one it's still like bright and in your face, but it's a little bit lighter, and so I feel like I don't have to baby it as much. You know what I mean? Like, I don't go in too ham with this. The other benefit that I love with this blush is that it layers so nicely on top of a variety of different blushes within my collection. I really have enjoyed doing that. I think that is a great way to spice up your blush collection. Like, if you're feeling like a little, like, you know, disenfranchised with your blush collection, try layering some of them together and you will come up with like different color combinations. So I think that's why, you know, this is the biggest reason this one comes in so high, is it allows me to get more use out of my blush collection as a whole. And I greatly love pairing it with this blush from the palette, which is, we'll get to this one later, but it is the Surreal Halo shade. I really do like those two together. Okay, so positions 8 and 9, we're just gonna talk about them together because quite honestly, I feel like I could, you know, swap them all day long, and my pros and cons for them are the same. So just for the sake of ranking, we will talk about this blush from Tarte first. It's in the shade Delight. This one, it's fine. The Tarte blushes are fine. They blend nicely. They wear easily. I don't really have any real complaints with them. It's just, they're fine. You know what I mean? Like, we're kind of in that middle of the pack in this ranking where it's like, I don't really have any pros about you, but I also don't have any cons about you. So this is why you fell there. So then the other one that I have is Exposed. I will say I would probably keep this one ranked higher over Delight because Exposed is just a much more like natural wearable shade. It's one of those like pinky brown shades within my collection, and so I get a little bit more use out of it than I do the Delight shade. But yeah, at the end of the day, these kind of just go, like, I don't think about these, you know what I mean? Like, even though, so that would make you think like, well, why don't they, you know, come lower down in the pack? Well, it's weird because even the ones with a lot of negatives, like, at least you think of them, like, you think to pull them out. You think, you know, do I need to use these? Do I need to declutter these? These are just two that go like, just, I forget that I own them. So it kind of made sense to put them in the middle of the pack because, like I said, no real pros and no real cons to them. Okay, so funnily enough, all of my CoverFX blushes are in a row. Let's get into this. So up next, we have CoverFX Pink Dahlia. I really do enjoy these monochromatic blushes. I think they're quite pretty. So this is just a great soft pink kind of blush. I have enjoyed this. I actually do get a lot of use out of this like shimmer topper shade. Now this one comes in last of the CoverFX pack just because I don't get as much use out of this shimmer shade as I do the others, and I'm counting this as one thing, even though in my inventory I count each pan separately. For the sake of this video, it's one compact, it's one position. We're gonna talk about them together, even though they are two separate pans of product. So kind of this shimmer shade right here does hold back the matte blush just a little bit in that sense, but again, it's still a really great product and I still really do enjoy this. All right, number 6. So this is where it really started to get hard, and so I have less and less like cons to say about these things. So I'm going to put Warm Honey in from CoverFX at number 6. So this is, I think on camera, it's going to look like it very much lines up with that Dalhis blush or some of the other more like brown toned ones in my collection. But this one is more of like a peachy brown almost. And it does not read like a bronzer like that Dalhis blush does. I really think that this is so flattering. This to me very much has like a neutral undertone to it. So it is a blush that I could wear throughout the year. I do favor this more in the fall time. But again, I just get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And even though this highlight shade or like the shimmer side of it does look a little bit dark, I actually can wear that as a highlighter if I put this down first and then do like a lighter kind of icier highlight. It's like they neutralize each other and they make like a really pretty shade. So I do greatly enjoy pulling this out and using this. I feel like once late summer rolls around, like this will be my blush for late summer into fall. Okay, so then at number 5, but it is my top ranking CoverFX monochromatic blush. This is Mojave Mauve or Mauve. So I really enjoy this one. And again, the formula of all three of these is so nice and so lovely. I think if you can get your hands on these and you find a shade combination that you really like, it speaks to you, I would recommend these. This one comes in top though, because out of the 3 that I own, this one is the most like all year round wearable in my opinion. Again, it's one of those like pinky purple shades that I just really enjoy. I think looks really nice on my particular skin tone. And I am not always like the biggest shimmer blush person. Like I feel like I much more prefer matte ones, but the topper in this, I don't use this necessarily as a highlighter all the time. I will actually dip into this and top it on top of this blush, or dip into this and top it on top of other blushes. It's just really pretty, really effortless. I just greatly enjoy it. So since I love to use this shimmer side within this compact as a blush topper, I felt like it was really fair to put this one at like the top of the CoverFX ones. Okay, so next up on our list, we're going to dip back into the Hourglass palette and talk about the Surreal Halo shade. Now, this does look very dark in the pan, and I will say it is probably one of the, I don't know, is it darker than the Independent shade from Nabla? It might be cutting it close, but this one blends out a lot nicer than the Nabla one. Like, I just feel like I don't ever go too ham with this. And in my opinion, this leans on the more cool tone side. I feel like a lot of my blushes are warm tone. So there's just a lot of like differentness to this one. You know what I mean? Like it's exciting to play with because it is so different within my collection. And I do have to say, I love the Hourglass formula. Again, they blend out nicely. They layer nicely. They're just a lot of fun to play with. So I have contemplated, after I finish off both of these two blushes, allowing myself to maybe pick up this as like a full size from Hourglass, but we'll see. By the time I have finished panning these two blushes, I might be like totally over those colors. But yeah, that one is number 4, I believe. Okay, so spots 1, 2, and 3 were super hard to cut, like to do. It's just, I really don't have any like cons about these. It's more just like a preference. And I think that if you asked me to film this, sit down, rewrite my pros and cons list, and do this next week, the top 3 would be different. But anyway, coming in at number 3, we're going to do the Gold Rush blush from Benefit. So this is what this one looks like on the inside. Hopefully you guys can see it down in there. It is such a pretty blush. This is something that I could find myself wearing every day and not really get tired of it. Again, it layers really nicely. And I know I said before, like, oh, I don't really like shimmery blushes. This one I do actually like. This does have a little bit of shimmer to it. It is on the more like golden side, and it just reads so lovely on your skin. So I'm a little bit heartbroken because, like I said, I do not like the packaging of this. So I don't know if I will ever buy a full size of the Gold Rush blush. But, you know, I'm going to enjoy it while I have it. So I'm going to try to open this up and show it to you compared to the Georgia blush, since we did talk about that earlier. So there's Georgia. Wait, how do I? Okay. So there's obviously Georgia from the palette, and then this one, I do think you can tell that Georgia is lighter, and so, you know, the fading issues and everything like that, like I talked about, I think it might just be that since it's a lighter shade, maybe I'm not putting on enough of it, but for whatever reason, I just prefer this one, and I wanted Georgia to be this, and it's not. Okay, so I am super sorry if like the angle or anything has changed. My camera battery just decided to die on me. How rude. Anyway, we were getting ready to talk about our number 2 position, and I'm waving it around, so I'm giving it away. But this is my Oden's Eye blush. This is from their Flower Blusher collection. This is in the shade Water Lily. Super pretty, so gorgeous. I know in the pan it looks like it would be a little dark. I never really find a problem with it coming across too like clownish or too punchy when I use it on my face. I just absolutely love the shade of this. This screams fall blush to me, but I also feel like I would wear this all year round and be quite content with it. Back in the fall of 2021, I had this out and I was neglecting every other blush in my collection, just going ham using this one. I had to force myself to put this one back. Like, it pained me a little bit. So I can confidently say, like, if you got rid of all of my blushes and just left me with this one, I would be quite happy with it. Also, I really found to enjoy layering the Gold Rush blush with this one. It just made such a pretty shade, and I cannot wait until I give myself permission to pull these both back out together and use them. Okay, so number 1, it comes from the Benefit Cheekstars palette. It is the shade Sugarbomb. Shouldn't be any surprise, I do have a significant amount of pan on this shade. So this one and the Oden's Eye one, it was just so hard to pick. But at the end of the day, this is the blush that I would constantly like pick out of my collection. Like, I always think of this blush. I know that I have this blush. This is the blush that I want to wear. This is a great daily blush, which I know I said a lot of those things for the Oden's Eye one. But there's just something about this. I can't quite put my finger on it, to be quite honest. But I just am in love with the shade Sugarbomb. I think maybe it's partly since it is you can see like it's divided. It has 4 different colors that make up this one blush. Depending on how you like swirl your brush within the pan, you do get a little bit of a variety every time that you put this on. So maybe it's that, maybe there's like that excitement of like, oh, did I make like a new kind of shade today? Do I really like this? I just always enjoy reaching for this. And again, it's a blush where if you took away everything else within my collection and just left me with Sugarbomb, I would be quite happy. So that rounds it off. That is all 15 of my powdered blushes ranked. Let me know down below what your top holy grail #1 blush is. I would love to know. Again, I thank you so much for sticking around and watching this, and I can't wait to catch you in the next video. So I hope you're having a good day, a good night, or a good whatever, and I will see you whenever. Okay? Bye.